Welcome to the Canafax Podcast, where you'll find zero Dutch marketing, zero tomato tech, and zero GMOs. Just cannabis, the way it's supposed to be. The cannabis truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help my bud.
Welcome to the podcast this evening, you smokers and tokers and everybody in between. Thought we'd go a little bit of difference while we're preparing for a different podcast and talk about a little bit of grow stuff. Something I haven't had a chance to do, haven't had a venue to do, other than type and post a couple pictures. And you really can't get too detailed that way. So this evening, I'd like to talk about some Sea Green the old school way. This is how I commercially grew pretty much for the last 40 years. Pretty much haven't changed anything in that whole time. Was taught that way and pretty much continue to do it that way. So, guess we'll start there. Cloning. This way, cloning is the most important thing. Short clones. With cloning, you end up with what you start out with. On a flood table with Sea of Green, and you don't want to veg anything. You want to bud. Strictly bud, no veg. You want to take a mature clone from the smallest point possible. My clones average 3 to 4 inches once they're rooted and ready to go. And in the rooting stage of those clones, they automatically sex themselves, of not really sexing themselves as per se. They mature. They show sex. So the cannabis plants are mature. As far as the female, she now has breasts and a menstrual cycle. Anyway, so your clones are sexed. Now, if you're cloning from unknown plants and you got multiple plants, perfect way to find your males and your females before you even put them out to bud. But once they're sexed, you put these on a flood table, and say a 4x8 flood table. In the old school days, we used Rockwell cubes. Of the 4-inch Rockwell cubes, we put 128 Rockwell cubes on a 4x8 table, averaging 4 inches apart per plant from the center of the Rockwell cubes. Go directly to a bud cycle with no veg. No changing for humidity or whatever you guys do at 48% humidity, 80 degrees from start to finish, with no change. On a light cycle of 8 hours on and the rest off. You can go 10 hours on sativas, depending on the strains. The sativas, you can go 10, and you can, sometimes the 8, you get better yields. Going to 10, you get better potency. Depends on the strain, but an average of 8 to 10. When those clones are done, depending on the genetics, those buds can be anywhere between 8, 12 inches, 18 inches, 2 foot, bigger than my arm, 3 foot, depending on the genetics. Then you have 128 of those on a flood table. There's where your weight's at. Now, to take in consideration how things are done today. Now, this is my question. If you have this same exact flood table, and you guys are putting dirt pots on those flood tables, and you're putting them anywhere between, I've seen people get them pretty close, 8-10 inches apart, whatever. You're sticking quite a bit of them in a small area. But your plants, you're vegging the plants to when they're 4 or 5 foot tall. And then there's a bud on the top. You're stripping the whole plant down to where there's just a bud on the top. Well, that's no different than what I just said. Just a bud. But I'm not doing all that vegetable growth. I'm not stripping all those leaves. I'm not wasting all those nutrients. And I'm not doing all that electric. That's my question. Why do you do it that way? Now I understand that I've heard the Jungle Boy say, I even say in a podcast, that they don't use the pip racks because their plants get too big. And that's exactly right. If you're using Tomato Tech, your plants get too big because you don't sex your clones at 3 inches tall and don't veg. That's why your plants get too big. Now, if you would sex your clones, mature clones, with no veg, they wouldn't get no taller than 2.5 foot. 3, depending on the genetics. My buds get huge. Huge. So, now those pip racks, in my opinion, are one of the greatest things since sliced bread as far as the innovation of cannabis hardware that ever created was those pip racks. Because from somebody in my day, this is how we grew constantly. Short buds called Sea of Green. That was the true Sea of Green. It was a whole flood table with nothing but buds with no veg. And the plants didn't get no taller than 2 foot. It's on the cover of High Times 1995 issue. I posted on Instagram, kind of showing you samples. I have thousands of them. I can show you pictures of me doing it. I've asked if people wanted to see pictures, and I was told no. So if everybody in the industry would utilize those pip racks the way they're supposed to be used, there wouldn't be a grow facility without one. I promise you. This is where I've been saying from day one coming to the internet that I could double the yield of what you guys get. And I guarantee I can. Because of that, I don't veg, and I would put all clones down. On those same flood tables that you guys use, I wouldn't use dirt pots though. Now today, they've even come a little better. And now the RDWC is out. So I've changed from the shallow rock wool flood tables. That's from the old days, and that's pretty much what you guys use for drain tables, for your dirt pots. Excuse me. I switched to a 8-inch depth flood tray and did RDWC, but use aquaponics, and it still put 128 clones on the same 4x8 table. It's just I use recycling organic water, and that is extremely great. I love that. It won't change from that from now on. That's just the bomb. So that's my question is, do you know what I mean? If there's anybody out there would like me to show you how to do it, I would be happy to do that. Even if you have moms already going, I could come in, clone my way, throw them on a table and show you, and walk away. That would be it. I could walk away and let you bud it. And I wouldn't even have to be there. Or I'm telling you how to do it now, but you can do it yourself. This is cloning. It's all cloning. You guys clone wrong. So that and your life schedule. There's quite a few things you guys do different. Anyway, that was just my question. That was a quick little sea of green thing on my GrowTech, and then those pip racks. I would definitely be interested in someone using those who would want to actually learn how to utilize it correctly, because those things are awesome. With the LEDs, innovation between LEDs and the pip racks, that's the two most important things that I've seen. That's been the greatest thing since sliced bread for cannabis, because you don't have to pin the high pressured sodiums to the ceiling with one flood table. You put those pip racks 3.5, 4 foot apart. I mean, you could do 3.5, but if you do the with the flood table being 8 inches, well, then you do 4 foot. So you give you 3 foot buds, because my buds get pretty big. So those things would be awesome. You can stack those to the ceiling all day long. Oh my goodness gracious! If you guys out there at the pip rack manufacturing is actually listening to this podcast, I'd be happy to come show you how to do it if you'd like me to. Be honored to show you guys the old school. I mean, just anything that's not tomato tech, because it's vastly missing in the cannabis industry, like really bad, really bad. I've been trying to say this for a long time, but you guys just totally ignore me, thinking I'm just some crazy old man. And from what I'm being told, is the excuse of this is that you guys do this bro science, and so this bro science trumps the old school stuff, or this old man, like myself, does. And yes, you guys do that bro science, 100% bro science. Let me explain what that bro science, the definition of that bro science is. It's kind of pretty easy. Bro, you got scammed with that tomato tech. That's your definition of bro science. So, yeah, bro, you got scammed by tomato tech. I would be happy to come show y'all. Anybody with a flood table, Oklahoma. I'm sure there's some pip racks in Oklahoma somewhere. I'm real close to Oklahoma. Oklahoma doesn't have a plant count. You need 128 clones per 4 by 8 table. If you just got one 4 by 8 table in a room, we'll do that too. Easy squeezy. All you gotta do is show one person, and then you all would be doing it. I promise you. I can show pictures of me doing it. I've told you about posting pictures, but nobody wants to hear about it from me. If it was from somebody else, that, my friend, would be a different story. Any takers out there? Let me know. Osmolabs at Gmail. Dan at osmolabs.com. Canafax at osmolabs.com. Or hit me up on Instagram. Or I'll give you my phone number. Doesn't matter to me. So, if you all want to talk more grow tech, if you want to hear about more grow tech, I have heard people complain of me not doing this right here, but yet saying everything about the tomato tech, but not explaining it. Well, that's pretty much why the podcast started also, so I can start explaining it, because I got tired of waiting for somebody to ask me to come on a podcast. That never happened. So anyway, if you like pictures of all this, whatever, or I can come show you. Doesn't matter. As long as the truth gets out there, that's the most important part. I guess we'll just make this a quick 15-minute podcast. Maybe I'll get some response to continue with this discussion or discussions such as this. This was kind of first as far as the grow thing, even talking about my grow tech. So I will continue if you want to listen to it. Until then, stay safe, stay high. God bless. Osmolab.
Unveiling the secrets of Osmolab's top-shelf cannabis breeding. What sets Osmolabs apart from the rest? At Osmolabs, the art of cannabis breeding transcends mere cultivation. The meticulous process is akin to a symphony, with each strain curated to perfection, embodying the pinnacle of quality and innovation. The science behind top-shelf genetics. Osmolabs leverages cutting-edge old-school genetic research to concoct their signature strains. Through a blend of old-school breeding techniques and technology, they unlock the hidden potential of each cultivar, resulting in unparalleled potency and flavor profiles. Nurturing excellence in every seed. From germination to harvest, Osmolabs adheres to a rigorous standard of care for their plants. Every seed is nurtured with precision and dedication, ensuring optimal growth and maximizing the genetic potential encoded within, cultivating a legacy of excellence. With a legacy spanning decades, Osmolabs has cemented its reputation as a pioneer in the cannabis industry. Their commitment to excellence and innovation continues to push the boundaries of what's possible, setting the gold standard for top-shelf cannabis breeding. The Osmolabs experience, where quality meets passion. Stepping into the world of Osmolabs is akin to embarking on a sensory journey to the past. Each strain tells a unique story, crafted with passion and expertise that is palpable in every puff. Experience the difference that top-shelf cannabis breeding can make and elevate your cannabis journey to new heights. Unveil the secrets of Osmolabs and discover a world where quality, innovation, and passion converge to redefine the art of cannabis breeding, exploring the roots of old-school cannabis strains. Old-school cannabis genetics refer to the foundational strains that laid the groundwork for the diverse varieties available in today's market. These original genetics hold a special place in the hearts of cannabis enthusiasts and breeders alike. They are the building blocks of the modern cannabis industry, with their unique characteristics and effects shaping the way we perceive and consume cannabis today. Understanding the significance of heritage strains. Heritage strains, such as Skunk, Northern Lights, and Haze, have stood the test of time and continue to influence new hybrids and cultivars. These classic varieties offer a glimpse into the rich history of cannabis cultivation and consumption, providing a connection to the past for many enthusiasts. The distinct aromas, flavors, and effects of these old-school genetics showcase the diversity and complexity of the cannabis plant. Unraveling the genetic makeup of old-school strains. Old-school cannabis genetics are known for their stability and consistency, traits that are highly valued in breeding programs. These classic strains often exhibit strong genetic markers that make them reliable choices for breeders looking to create new and exciting varieties. By understanding the genetic makeup of these heritage strains, Osmolabs has harnessed their unique characteristics to develop novel cultivars with specific traits and effects. Navigating the evolution of cannabis genetics. As the cannabis industry continues to evolve, old-school genetics remain a cornerstone of breeding projects aimed at preserving and enhancing the qualities of classic strains. By blending old-school genetics with old-school breeding techniques, Osmolabs has created hybrids that offer a fresh take on familiar favorites. This fusion of old-school genetics results in a diverse array of cannabis varieties that cater to a wide range of consumer preferences.